fellow anime geeks, and welcome to another series review. I hope you're keeping safe and warm this holiday season. You guys certainly give me a great big gift, just knowing that there's people out there that care to listen to my dumb opinions, so thank you. I've got another light novel adaptation for you guys today, and I'm ready to dissect it with my usual 4 questions. BOKUTACHI no Remake or Remake Our Life on Crunchy. The Mao genre tags are drama, romance, and slice of life, and I sort of agree. I don't usually like to label things as slice of life if it does have a narrative plotline, but since the narrative and the genres change so often in this show, I can't really blame Mao for just casting their net wide and just simply calling this slice of life. Oh goodness. Suddenly fan service. I'm also going to generalize and say that this is a romantic supernatural drama, but FYI, this starts out as this realistic adult workplace sort of drama, but then through a supernatural fantasy event, things turn into this like school, college, slice of life, romantic harem thing with plenty of fan service, and then in the last few episodes, this becomes a romantic moral tale, kind of like About Time or Click. Moving on to plot and premise, I have to admit that when I first read this title, I thought that this was just gonna be like a we have ReLIFE at home sort of situation, but no, only really the basic premise is all that similar. Our protagonist is having a hard time succeeding in his career, and he gets a new shot at life. Instead of the more realistic biotech premise and giving our protagonist this deep psychological trauma that he has to overcome, we get a supernatural phenomenon that isn't really addressed until like the last couple of episodes, and a protagonist who feels sorry for himself and is for some reason really fixated on this idea of going back and doing all of his professional career over again with specific artists that he really admires. He gets his wish. He goes back in time, he attends the art school that he regretted not enrolling in when he was younger, and I wonder who his roommates are going to be. Throughout this show, I just kept asking myself one question, and I think this actually leads nicely into our talk on originality. But what's the point here exactly? What is our protagonist supposed to learn from all of this? Because I can't really think of an answer to this question that another work hasn't addressed better. At first, it seemed like we were setting up the type of story where it's never too late. No, it is never too late. It's not too late. This is never too late. Or, I didn't know what I had all along. But unlike the deserving but broken Kaisaki in ReLIFE, this protagonist doesn't really require a hero's journey to just change his mindset and succeed. It's never too late, bud, go! These subplots are sweet and moving and touching, but again, unlike in ReLIFE where our protagonist transforms his bitter life experiences into support that make a significant difference in the personal growth and development of those around him, in Remake, these people would have been fine without our protagonist. In fact, the first few scenes are of how successful and wonderful their professional careers are going without him. Our protagonist just wants to be a part of that crowd. I'm just not sure if the transition from light novel to anime was done very well here. We end at the beginning of this arc with a completely different purpose and message than any of the other tropes that this had were actually leading up to. It's also maybe a little bit difficult to understand our protagonist in a show versus in a light novel where you could maybe read his internal monologue and his thoughts a bit more personally, because from the show it just seems to me like he's comparing himself to others, he's not grateful for anything that he has, he's not appreciative of his skills and knowledge that he has earned through this more unconventional career path, and like he's just seeking acknowledgement and fame, and I'm not sure I like that. But look, this wasn't awful. It's definitely something to watch if you like drama, if you like kind of school life sort of things, maybe a little bit of romance here and there. But for me, it was just a sort of show that I felt like I had to keep watching because I didn't really feel like I had anything for you guys. So I just kept watching it and watching it and watch. And on that note, I'll catch you in the next video. And watching it and watching. And I'm sorry, but for a story about artists, this didn't really have much in the way of the artistic process. No coding or graphics, very little drawing, a bit of editing here and there. I mean, if the story is going to be about a specific craft, I want to see said craft. Okay, good. I thought he was gonna like wake up and time had like gone back to the past. No, don't throw time travel in there. No, no. You don't know what would have happened though.